Hello everyone, this is Chris, and today Minecraft Live streamed across the internet worldwide, sharing several different types of information, such as the next big update we are expecting to see inside the game, along with the announcement of the winners of the mob votes which we have seen throughout this past week. And today I'm going to summarize some of the most interesting things we saw during the show, so like, subscribe, etc. But yeah, let's get into this. And the next big 1.19 update we'll be expecting next year is known as the Wild Update. A very unexpected type of update, but a very welcome one. And as it is an update focusing on the wild and the environment, it sort of makes sense that we will see some types of new blocks and things, such as a new type of tree known as the mangrove type of tree, which is one of the first types of trees which can actually fully grow underwater. You could find this type of wood what appears to be inside of a brand new type of swamp right here, and if it's a brand new type of a tree, that does mean it's a brand new type of wood. So yeah, a brand new tree type, a brand new wood type, and also a sort of brand new type of swamp type too. And I'm no expert on mangrove trees, but this almost looks like a new type of jungle type of wood with the coloring and the texturing. But you know what? A new type of wood, I will personally and totally take it. And you might have noticed that the dirt looks very different than what normal swamp dirt or any other type of dirt might look like inside of a biome. That's because this isn't actually dirt, but actually, mud, which is also kind of dirt. But anyways, mud, a brand new type of block, which by adding a water bottle onto a dirt block will actually create it into mud, which can also be turned into clay by having it connected to dripstone, which honestly, a new type of block I am always in favor for, and having a complete biome filled with mud blocks is very interesting. The only question is, our muddy pigs are coming with that, because if we're getting mud, then I'm not going to be satisfied and happy unless we get our muddy pigs along with mud. And if you feel the same way, then at least we're getting mud bricks alongside the mud, which is kind of an interesting style of block choice to add inside the game. Like I never would have expected we would be getting mud bricks inside of Minecraft, but as of the Wild update, we are expecting them. And because we're on the topic of swamps, if you might remember, a couple years ago, we did see a vote for a swamp update, and it seems as though this is also including all those features we were expecting. First off being the boat chest, you know, a chest which you can place inside a boat, which presumably we'll get the mangrove boat too, with a mangrove boat chest inside of it, which is very exciting. Like, honestly, if we weren't getting the mountains, the swamp honestly would have been my second choice. I'm glad we got the mountains. Mountains are great, but honestly, I'm so happy, just generally speaking, that they're finally adding in the losing votes. Even though we're taking quite a long time to do it, it's at least exciting that they're actually finally doing it. I have a small theory that the other losers might secretly be inside this update too, but that's a video for another day. And if you remember, chest boats weren't the only thing added inside that mob teaser, because also inside that teaser was actually frogs. Yeah, frogs coming in a variety of different types of colors, textures, and themes are actually coming inside the game, which, honestly, even though I don't see many uses for them, at least right now, I'm very excited to see them. I'm very excited to see what they have in store and what they offer to us inside the game. And speaking of exciting things, the frogs seem to be very excited about the other type of mob which is being introduced, which is the Fireflies, which looks just like a single light pixel right now. Like, again, we really need to see this inside of betas and snapshots before we can get a real sense as to what these mobs are. But again, in any other types of mobs, I'm interested in seeing. But you might be thinking, okay, 1.19 seems very exciting, but what about 1.18? What about the Warden? What about the Deep Dark and things? Well, unfortunately, the Warden and Deep Dark is being delayed until the Wild update, but I think, honestly, after what we've seen, it is probably for the best, because during the show, we've actually seen plenty more types of things, such as ancient cities that could spawn inside of the Deep Dark. And we got a little bit of footage of that right there. Honestly, inside the Deep Dark, it's very dark. We can, hardly see it. But yeah, these ancient cities look absolutely massive, probably stronghold size or nether fortress size or something like that. Looks very, very interesting. And some of the blocks we were expecting inside the Deep Dark, we've actually known and seen a little bit more about those. First off, with the Skulk Catalyst, which seems as though the way we are able to, I guess, farm, in a way, the Skulk Sensors and other types of Skulk blocks, because when a mob dies around it, not only will it pick up the XP, but it will also spread across more of the Deep Dark blocks spread across the place. And also, the more XP it collects, the more it spreads out. And if you do break it with, say, a Silk Touch hoe or something like that, then it will actually drop all of its XP. So, a new type of, I guess, furnace style of XP system where it could store up XP and then the player can collect it at a different time. The next one is the Skulk Shrieker, where if a Skulk Sensor picks up vibrations, then it will send to the Skulk Shrieker, which will emit off, I guess, darkness. Now, there's an actual logistical way, and actually you can get darkness inside the game using this one type of block, but in some scenarios it might not actually be the most ideal thing, because it seems as though the more darkness you have, the more likelihood it is for a warden to spawn out of it. It's kind of hard to make out with the footage we have because of how dark it is, but it seems as though a warden will summon out from all of the darkness that the Skulk Shriekers emit, which, honestly, seems very, very terrifying. It seems absolutely frightening to have some type of mob like that, and the way they explained it is that it can somehow, I guess, smell out the player, which begs the question, what do players smell like? Which, probably we all probably stink in some way, but yeah, the warden being able to track down players much, much better and much more, I guess, efficiently than other types of mobs makes this mob so much more frightening than it already is. And we also got a little bit more information about 1.18 and the development process with that, and when we can actually expect it. But first off, we see blending now actually works way, way better than what it normally was. Before, it was sort of like using I believe a 16 by 16 chunk and actually blending from one world to another, but now here, it seems though it's blending through much, much better than what it normally was. And speaking of 1.18, they actually announced when it could actually roughly be released. And Lady Agnes didn't say any specific date, but she did say about a month or two from now. It seems as though all they're focusing on now is seed parity, pretty much, which, for the most part, if you've been keeping up with snapshots and betas, it seems as though they're actually really, really close. There's a few little things, such as maybe trees or other types of things like that need work around, but for the most part, seed parity is pretty much almost there. So, yeah, expect 1.18 to actually be fully released in about a month or two from now. And finally, we have the mob vote to talk about, and let's be honest, the Glare, it seemed like an interesting mob, but it was cut away from the vote pretty much immediately, and the last two contendants were the Copper Golem and the Allay, and the Allay actually came out victorious and won. And again, for someone who actually loves note blocks and things like that, this is actually the mob I was rooting for and hoping for. But if you were rooting for the Copper Golem, have no fear, because now that we're actually seeing some of the actual losers from previous votes be released, I have a feeling that maybe they'll get released just a little bit sooner than normal, as they are trying to listen to the community a little bit better. But on the plus side, at the very least, Dream didn't rig it this time. But yeah, let me know what you think of the Wild update, let me know what you think about 1.18, let me know what you think about the Warden, let me know what you think about every single thing we saw during the show down below in the comments. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.